There's one man who refuses to follow the script.
We have rules here, you know that. And if you don't follow the rules, then what are we?
One man stands tall in the face of adversity.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
A man who rises above the ashes of hot takes.
What do you care what they say?
Easy for you to say they all love you.
It's just noise, man. You're really good at it. You might be great.
That man is Nick Kostos. And this is You Better You Bet.
If loving sports is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Where narratives are challenged and the truth is spoken.
I told you what was going to happen last week. If you didn't listen, that's on you.
This isn't talk, it's perspective.
It's not what you look at that matters. It's what you see.
This is You Better You Bet, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
What's up, everybody? Happy and merry, magnificent Football Monday to you and yours. This is You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports, as we bring you the fastest show in all of sports. The show presented today and always by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. And on this magnificent Football Monday morning, the world of sports is alive. And we are going to get to all the big stories. Of course, all things Super Bowl 60. 3 hours of Super Bowl 60 coming up today on this magnificent Football Monday on You Better You Bet. Herman Edwards will join us next hour, ESPN NFL analyst. We look forward to that. More surprises along the way as well. For everyone watching in the YouTube chat, I encourage you to get into the YouTube chat if you are not. YouTube.com/@thekostos, @THEKOSTOS. We'll be taking questions and comments from the YouTube chat throughout the show. You can tweet me @thekostos, THEKOSTOS. Thoughts on the Super Bowl. It's an interactive show. It's me and you. @thekostos, @You Better You Bet on Twitter. We will incorporate your comments, your questions on the game, the halftime show, etc. throughout the program. Bets for tonight will wrap up the show. We very much look forward to that. We've got, we won't do a ton of non-football on the show today, but just to throw this out there, we have an absolute certified 5-star banger tonight in college basketball with Kansas hosting undefeated Arizona in the Big 12. I'll give you my thoughts and my bet on that game at the end of the show. I want to start here before we get to the game, and we will get to the game, and we will do 3 hours on the game. I am exceptionally grateful on this Monday morning because we have just completed, we, meaning me, the crew, and you, our listeners and viewers, we have completed now 7 football seasons here on You Better You Bet. This show started with the 2019 season, which feels like a million years ago, which was the first Chiefs Super Bowl win against Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan, and Kansas City. Feels like a million years ago. 7 amazing years here with me and you on You Better You Bet. And we are coming off an awesome week in San Francisco at Radio Row. Incredible job by our crew, Bill Zimmerman on site, Tyler, Mike Brown, Kenny Henderson, John Romero, Carlos Delgado, and others. An incredible week in San Francisco. So much awesome feedback from our listeners and viewers on the guest-heavy week that we had. And look, that's the deal with Super Bowl week, right? It's a guest-heavy week when you go to Radio Row. It is a unique week in that regard on the sports and sports radio calendar. I absolutely loved it. Got a lot of great feedback. I feel like you did as well. And now, with football season in the books, you might be thinking, man, is this show still going to bring it? Is this show going to have the same fire, the same passion, the same intensity that it has during the football season? You're damn right it's going to. 100%. We can't wait for the NCAA tournament. We can't wait for conference tournaments in college basketball. We can't wait for the NBA playoffs. We can't wait for the Stanley Cup playoffs. We can't wait for Major League Baseball. We can't wait for the Masters. We can't wait for the World Cup. 365 days a year, 12 months a year. We are going to dominate here. You better, you bet, on Westwood One Sports. Just kidding. I'm going to try to work as little as possible this summer. So July and August, hopefully see you never. But until then, oh baby, NFL draft in April as well. Absolutely can't wait for it. So thank you very much to our listeners. Thank you to our viewers. I love you. Without you, none of this would be possible. We wouldn't have completed one football season here on You Better You Bet. We are now through 7. And now we officially begin the magnificent Football Monday post-Super Bowl edition of You Better You Bet with history. The Seattle Seahawks, Super Bowl champions, annihilating, obliterating, eviscerating, dare I say, emasculating the New England Patriots. Final score, 29-13. And for those of you that can't do the math, Seahawks and the under. Oh, baby, what a betting night it was. Now, look, I always say on the show, I don't even come close to winning all my bets. And if I did, you think I'd be doing this show? I'd be on an island somewhere, on a yacht somewhere tropical, instead of the snow being like basically up to my shoulders when I walk around to New York City. I don't win all my bets. But when I do, it's on Super Bowl 60. Great betting night last night. If you watched the shows this week, if you watched yesterday, if you listened to yesterday, what a betting day it was for us. Super Bowl 60. Seahawks 29, Patriots 13, as the Seattle Seahawks ascend the mountain to football immortality. And there are so many storylines we've got to get to. We will break down the disaster class authored by Drake Maye and the New England Patriots in what was a, let's call it what it is. It was a pathetic performance by Drake Maye and the New England Patriots offense. There's no other way to put it. Absolutely pathetic. We're going to break it down. I'm going to tell everybody, as one of the world's foremost NFL historians, where Super Bowl 60 ranks among the worst Super Bowls ever played, because let me tell you something, that game stunk. It was absolutely brutal. And I will also give you the one, because out of everybody, I'm just telling you, I'm Neo. I'm the one. I and I alone have the only 100% correct take on the halftime show with Bad Bunny. But for now, we will praise the Super Bowl champion, Seattle Seahawks. And what an unbelievable turnaround this was by Seattle. And before we can talk about the 2025 Seahawks, we need to go back, not that long in history, but go back a couple years, where in the final couple years of the Pete Carroll, Geno Smith regime in Seattle, the Seattle Seahawks had a run of mediocrity that would have made frozen pizza jealous. 2021, 7-10. 22, 9-8. 23, 9-8. Mediocre. Mediocrity across the board. An average football team. Exit Pete Carroll. Enter Mike McDonald. And then exit Geno Smith. Enter Sam Darnold. 10-7 last year. 14-3 this year in the regular season. And completing a 17-3 season culminating in a Super Bowl championship. An absolutely and truly remarkable, stunning, and unforeseen turnaround, culminating in a title, coming into the year at 60-1 odds to win it all at BetMGM. And consider this for a moment, right? And I have to have my hand up here because I was so wrong about this. And I want you, the person watching, you, the person listening, to put yourself in my shoes right now with the question that I'm going to ask. And be honest with yourself, right? If I had asked you in August, rank the teams in the NFC West by order of most likely to win a Super Bowl championship to least likely to win a Super Bowl championship, where would you have placed the Seahawks? Where would you have placed the Seahawks? Not out of the teams in the NFC, not out of the teams in the NFL, the teams in the NFC West in their own division. I guarantee, if you're being honest, you had the San Francisco 49ers ahead of them. You probably had the LA Rams ahead of them if you had known Matthew Stafford was going to be healthy. Me, I thought the Cardinals were going to be better. I thought the Seahawks were going to come in last. And I'm not the only person that said that. I'm not the only person that thought it. It just goes to show what a crazy and improbable turnaround this was and rise to greatness by the 2025 Seattle Seahawks. 60-1 to win it all before the year. Left for dead in their own division. And instead, a juggernaut. So we have to ask ourselves, how in God's name did this happen? How did it happen? How about an organizational Midas touch? Where everything the Seattle Seahawks have done for a number of off seasons and a number of drafts, all of it has turned to gold. Starting with the inspired hire of Mike Macdonald as head coach. Only 2 years as defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens. Now 2 seasons in as head coach of the Seattle Seahawks and a Super Bowl championship. The signing of Sam Darnold. The trading of Geno Smith. The drafting of Charles Cross. The drafting of Gray Zabel. The drafting of Nick Emenwari. I mean, these drafts are unbelievable. The drafting of Jackson Smith and Jigba. The drafting of Derek Hall. The drafts are crazy for the Seahawks and what they were able to build in just a couple years. Devin Witherspoon, Zach Charbonnet. The talent, absolutely immense. The Seahawks went from mediocrity to magnificent. From unremarkable to unstoppable. Now, this is going to sound crazy. And I had to think about it before the show. And I asked a couple people, including our executive producer, Bill Zimmerman, this question because, I always want to kind of, in my head, map out, because look, I'm doing solo radio, right? I'm a storyteller. And I'm trying to map out the best way to tell this story to you, our listeners and viewers. And I feel like maybe I should start with Mike Macdonald. Or maybe I should start with Sam Darnold. Hell, maybe you should even start with Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker. But where I keep coming back to, and I actually think there's no other logical place to start the story of the 2025 Seahawks and this Super Bowl championship. I think that there's one name that has to come before all of them. And it's going to sound nuts because he's not someone that coaches and not someone that plays. The first name that has to be referenced is General Manager John Schneider. And if you don't know who John Schneider is, shame on you. Shame on you. Now, you might recall 2 weeks ago, after Championship Sunday, I came on this show and I said, if the Seahawks win Super Bowl 60, John Schneider's on the path to Canton. He's on the path to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And with Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft not getting in, you know that they're changing the voting. It's going to make it way easier for John Schneider to get in moving forward. Do you all understand, our listeners and viewers? And if you don't, that's what I'm here for, right? I live in the minutia, so you don't have to. Do you understand what this dude just pulled off? And how unbelievable his career has been in charge of the Seattle Seahawks. John Schneider has been the GM. I guess his title now is GM, but he was the de facto general manager when Pete Carroll was the coach, right? He's been in Seattle since 2010. Along with Pete Carroll, built the team that would win Super Bowl 48, built one of the greatest defenses ever, and a defense that I actually think is better than this defense Seattle had, and we'll talk about that probably next hour on the show when we try and place the 2025 Seattle Seahawks in the context of potentially historically great teams. I don't know where I rank them in that regard. I think it's going to make some people mad. We'll get to that. But built the Super Bowl 48 champion. Drafted Russell Wilson. Now, you might say, well, they signed Matt Flynn also. Okay, great. They also realized their mistake before week 1 of the regular season and made Russell Wilson the starter. That takes guts. That takes grapefruits. It takes chutzpah. It takes cojones to do that. John Schneider did it, and Pete Carroll did it. And if not for one of the worst play calls in the history of life, forget about sports. You want to talk about fumbling the bag or intercepting the bag in this case. I mean, is there a greater fumble in the history of the world? A greater mistake in the history of life than what the Seahawks did at the end of Super Bowl 49 against the Patriots? Think about the way we remember that Seahawks team if they go back-to-back. And in doing so, they would have beaten Peyton and Brady back-to-back. That's taken away from John Schneider and taken away from the Seahawks. But a decade later, think about that. 10 years later, he builds another Super Bowl champion with back-to-back-to-back crazy draft classes with players not just contributing, but being like the lead men in a Super Bowl championship. Making the decision to trade Geno Smith to Vegas and sign Sam Darnold, which has really turned out like they upgraded from a Pinto. I don't know if it's like a Lamborghini with Sam Darnold. I think Sam Darnold's very good. I don't know if he's great. You might call me a hater. That's fine. Let's call Sam Darnold a Mercedes. Mercedes are still pretty good, right? I don't know if he's a Bentley. I don't know if he's a Lambo or a Rolls Royce, but you can win with a Mercedes. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. He's like a Ford Taurus. And shout out to him. He won the championship. But they upgraded big time. Pinto to a Mercedes. From Geno Smith, especially the way Geno played this year, to Sam Darnold. And look, Pete Carroll is a football legend. Won a national championship at USC, was amazing at the college level, should have won 2 Super Bowls as a head coach in the NFL. But with where Pete Carroll's ended up, and certainly in the final couple of years of his tenure as the head coach of the Seahawks, going from Pete Carroll to Mike McDonald is like upgrading from a Tyrannosaurus Rex to Albert Einstein. The Carrollsaurus. Small brain and baby arms. Little arms. Like, let's send out the punt unit. Let's hire my son to be the offensive coordinator and have this horrendous Swiss cheese offensive line. And then here's Mike McDonald, who takes the wreckage of what Pete Carroll left and transforms it into a Super Bowl team in just 2 seasons. I mean, the transformation here from that team at the end of Pete Carroll to this team last night is the best transformation since Jeff Bezos somehow turned into Pitbull. How the hell did it happen? I mean, by the way, you look at Jeff Bezos' pictures from his wedding, he looks like Pitbull. How'd that happen? I need that kind of money. I'll tell you what, I had that kind of money, I'd come to work tomorrow looking like Ricky Martin. Leave some handsome for the rest of us, Ricky. God. John Schneider's a Hall of Famer. Super Bowl winner in 48, should have won 49, and now Super Bowl 60. All the great draft picks. The hiring of Mike McDonald. The trading of Geno Smith. The signing of Sam Darnold. Think about that. This is like you cashed a 3 or 4 leg parlay is what the Seahawks did. Jackpot. Super Bowl championship. Unbelievable job. We haven't even scratched the effing surface yet on this Monday here on You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports. We have not yet put Mike McDonald into historical perspective, Sam Darnold into historical perspective. We'll get to Bad Bunny in the halftime show, and I will give you my 100% correct. My opinion is the only correct opinion, unless you agree with me, in which case your opinion is correct as well. My thoughts on the halftime show, and we will dig into and offer a full post-mortem and an autopsy on that awful performance by Drake Maye and the New England Patriots. and tie a bow on the 2025 NFL season. And also, we're loaded on this Monday. Oh, man. I've already got my Super Bowl winner for next year picked out. And wait till you hear the odds of this team to win at BetMGM. Fire in the comments on YouTube, youtube.com/@thekostos. We'll read them throughout the show. Tweet us at @thekostos, @YouBetterYouBet. On the other side, we'll talk about slinging Sammy Darnold, Super Bowl champion, here on Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM.
of them all in the NFL.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports.
Mike Tirico with the call last night on NBC. How about Mike Tirico, the real MVP? Literally goes from, calls the Super Bowl on NBC and then walks down to the field and starts hosting NBC's Olympic coverage. I mean, I bitch and moan about going to San Francisco for a week and having to get up at, 2:30 local time to do a 3-hour show. Mike Tirico calls, in all seriousness, that's a lesson for everybody, man. You want to know what it takes to be great? Forget about the players. How about Mike Tirico? Calls the Super Bowl, starts hosting NBC's Olympic coverage. And just to say this, because I don't know when I would get it in otherwise, I always bring up, right? And it's usually, I don't know why, maybe it's because I'm so wired from the day of watching football. But usually Sunday Night Football, when it ends, I kind of just sit there on the couch for a while. I'm looking at, stuff from the game, and I'm looking ahead to next week. And I usually don't change the channel. And it ends up going into, or maybe I lose some bets. And I'm in the pit of misery. And I just sit there, catatonic. And eventually the local news starts. And it's here's this guy that got pushed in front of the subway and got massacred by an oncoming train, or this house burned down, or whatever it is. And it's super depressing. And that's my cue to turn the TV off and go upstairs and go to sleep. How about last night? A little bit better. Because we went from the Super Bowl coverage on NBC into the Olympics. So I'm sitting there on the couch and I'm thinking, man, this is pretty, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch. I don't even really like the Olympics that much. Just like I've never really have. But whatever, man. I see the snow on the ground. Oh, this is kind of cool. I'm going to sit here and watch this. And then I realized that what we were about to watch was the Olympic equivalent of house burning down in Queens, New York. Because the first thing that we saw was Lindsey Vonn. And they show Lindsey Vonn, right? And it's I know what happened earlier today because I was on social media this morning. Obviously, it's on tape delay. So I'm not going to turn it off until Lindsey Vonn comes on. And we had to watch man, I'll tell you, man, film at 11. These Olympians are really talented. What a shock. The way that they ski, let me tell you something. The way that they ski, pretty unbelievable. I'm not a skier. I don't like the Olympics, but I got to be honest, that's pretty cool. And I keep it on, and the Lindsey Vonn stuff was really... I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it was just what else do you say? It was right away, too. It was 10 seconds long, and then all of a sudden, boom! And the announcers start doing the solemn voice, and let's show all the faces in the crowd, and everybody is silent. All that was missing was the Fox injury music. I know it's NBC. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-da-da-dun. It was just, or the Yes Network rain delay music. Just insane. So thanks to NBC and the Olympics, I went to bed 30 to 40 minutes later than I should have last night. Anyway. Back to Super Bowl 60. You better you bet on this Monday, Westwood One Sports with me, Nick Kostos. A lot of YouTube comments coming in. We will read them throughout the course of the show today. Our friend Mark says he doesn't know what's funnier, how bad the Patriots played, or how much backtracking their fans are doing about Drake Maye this morning. Oh, I'm going to give you my opinion on Drake Maye. And I think my opinion will be fair and reasonable. I'll give that to you coming up a little later in the show. Our buddy AMW, I don't know who beats the Seahawks if they keep their defense together. Oh, I've got an answer for you. And I'll give it to you a little later in the program. Our friend Void, Sam Darnold, a Honda Civic. Not pretty, but gets the job done. Let me tell you something, Void. Growing up in Queens, New York, the Honda Civic was the car that if you had no money, which was all of us, including me, the Honda Civic was the car you wanted to get. Slap a spoiler on that son of a bitch, and you felt like you were Mario Andretti. Sam Darnold's better than a Honda Civic. Sports wager, Bills or Jags out of the AFC next year? I got a thought about that. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. Keep it coming on YouTube, youtube.com/@thekostos. We will read your comments and take your questions throughout the program. But for now, slinging Sammy Darnold, Super Bowl champion. The modern day Jim Plunkett. From bust to world champion. Once a punchline, a meme, a casualty of the social media age, left to rot by all of us who assumed he stunk, would never turn it around, and that it was over for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has gone from mono to magnificence, from ghosts to glory. And now, a legend. I have goosebumps right now because it's crazy. The first quarterback from the 2018 draft class to get to or win a Super Bowl. You know, the draft class that includes Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Incredible job by Sam Darnold. 14 regular season wins last year, 14 regular season wins this year, and played the best game of his career in the NFC Championship game a couple weeks ago against the Los Angeles Rams. Now I'm going to pour, for myself and for you, a glass of haterade right now. And perhaps you'll think it's haterade. I don't think it is, but I just know how it's going to be taken and what people will say to me after I tell you this. I still don't think he's that great. And I'm not, and it doesn't even matter. I'm just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he's not that great. It doesn't matter that he's not Josh Allen. It doesn't matter that he's not Lamar Jackson. It doesn't matter that he's not Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter that he's not Joe Burrow. It doesn't matter that he's not Matthew Stafford. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. What matters is he's good enough to win a Super Bowl championship and win 1 million regular season games. And there is no sarcasm at all in those sentences from me. But I'm a completionist, right? Like when I played Ghost of Yotai, I wanted to beat 100% of the game. That's how I am. And when we're going to talk sports here on You Better You Bet, we are going to talk it from all angles. Where I love to frame things historically and try and rank players and where they stand in history and where they stand present day. So we have to do that now that Sam Darnold's a Super Bowl champion. Like, was he good enough to win a championship? Yes. At the end of the day, is that all that matters? Yes. But is he as good as the best quarterbacks in the league? No. No. And that's okay. But we tell the truth on this show. And if we're going to tell the truth, we're going to say two things. Number one, Sam Darnold is a worthy Super Bowl champion. And number two, he ain't as good as the best quarterbacks in the league. And you might think, well, that's an unnecessary thing to say. It's a shot at him. It's not. It isn't. It isn't. And if you were Josh Allen and you're Lamar Jackson this morning, would you rather be you or Sam Darnold? And I'm not suggesting like in their personal lives. I'm saying in their football lives. Would you rather have the MVPs or would you rather have the Super Bowl championship? I guarantee if you're in the pursuit of greatness like these guys are, you take the Super Bowl championship. The other thing I'll say about Sam Darnold, and I said it this week. I said it to Rod Woodson in an interview we did on Friday at Radio Row. We played it yesterday on Countdown to Kickoff. You may hear me say this and think this is drama or hyperbole, and I don't care because it's the truth. And if you would be honest with yourself, you have to agree with this, even if you don't want to, because it's the truth. Sam Darnold is an American success story. And if you are a parent, a mother or a father, like I am, I have a daughter. And when you have and this is not to say that people without kids can't understand what I'm about to say. Of course you can. But I think it really, and if you have a kid, you understand this. It really changes your mindset, right? where I can say this about my daughter and have it be true. Not if, but when. When. Because we all go through it. We all go through it in life. When she goes through adversity and people tell her she can't do it. She's not good enough. In the same way, people have told me in my life, I can't do it. And I'm not good enough. In the same way that people have told you, you can't do it. And you're not good enough. I want her to do what Sam Darnold did. Right? Take the slings and arrows and never give up and keep going and keep working and keep your head down and keep moving and keep progressing and keep moving forward. Don't take no for an answer. Dedicate yourself to your craft. Don't get swallowed up by negativity. Don't get swallowed up by the negativity on social media. Keep working. Keep your head down. And tell everybody to shove it where the sun don't shine. And go do your thing. Sam Darnold went from being a punchline to a champion. Left for dead by all of us. Whether there was malice in our opinions or not. No malice from me. Probably no malice from you. Just like he stinks, right? He's a bust. Think about how many bust quarterbacks are there in the NFL where they stink, they're out of the league in a couple of years, we don't think about them. They become a footnote in history. Where, let's say Sam Darnold washes out. He's J.P. Lossman from 2004. Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, Phil Rivers, J.P. Lossman. Josh Rosen. That's who he is. No. He said no. 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 I'm going to have my story told. Isn't that what you want from your kid? Isn't that what you want from yourself? So you can agree with me and not think he's the best quarterback. I don't think he is. I think if you gave him truth serum, he'd tell you that he knows he's not. It doesn't matter. Super Bowl champion, now at the height of his profession. You don't have to like him. You don't have to like the Seattle Seahawks. No one says you have to. But damn it, if you don't respect him and what he did, you are one of two things. Well, one of three things. Stupid, lost, or a hater. I don't know which of the three is worse. On the other side, we will talk about the Super Bowl winning head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, Mike Macdonald, at the forefront of a new revolution in the National Football League. Herm Edwards will join us at the top of the hour, Monday after Super Bowl 60. Nick Kostos, You Better You Bet, Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM.
the best team I've ever been around. The closest, toughest, most connected team I've ever been on. Like, as great as it is, I wish the season kept going because it's just such a great team.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos on Westwood One Sports.
The voice of Seahawks head coach Mike Macdonald. You want to talk psychopath? Like someone who's a true psycho. Mike Macdonald just won the Super Bowl. Won the height of his profession. Could have looked into the camera and said, you know what? I'm going to Disney World, bitches. And instead he's like, oh, kind of wish we were preparing for the Browns tomorrow. Let me get in the film room and start cutting up this Shadur Sanders tape. Let me see how we could use our linebackers and safeties to stop Harold Fannin. What? My dude, go enjoy the fruits of your labor. I mean, look, he's a grinder, man. That's why he's great. Wants to keep going. Me, I can't wait to get the hell out of here. Mike Macdonald wants to go back to work today. God bless him. Our show sponsor is BetMGM, and college basketball season. It's been a great season. How about Carolina beating Duke at the buzzer on Saturday? We got Arizona and Kansas tonight at the Fog. This season has been amazing. Is gonna keep being amazing. We can't wait to cover it here on You Better You Bet. I'll give you bets for tonight in college basketball in a little bit. And no matter the matchup, betting with boosted odds makes every basket mean even more. We want you, dear listener and dear viewer, to activate your odds boost token for any college basketball bet, and you'll receive a bigger payout if your bet wins. Get set for tip-off with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today. Tyler, who Houston beat BYU this weekend, right? That was one where, and look, like I get home late Friday night, and we'll get back to the NFL in a second, but I just need to tell the story quickly. So we get back late Friday night from San Francisco. My wife picks me up. I go home, and I go right to bed. Right? I'm tired, as one is after a week on the road. And Saturday, I spend the day with my family, and I'm not locked into college basketball because I can't if I want to keep my marriage afloat. And I get to work yesterday before the various shows that I do on Sunday morning, and I have CBS HQ and ESPN on, and I see the highlights from Houston BYU, and I'm just like, man, I really wish I had been paying attention because I would have bet Houston, and it would have been an easy winner against BYU. Tyler and Kenny, just to say this in our show chat, were both like, for people that don't know, well, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, you know Tyler is a 1% sports fan. So is Kenny Henderson. They are talking in the chat about tonight's Kansas-Arizona game. They both like Kansas. Perhaps it will make them and you feel good or bad to know that I turned in my Beat the Books already for today, which plays throughout Odyssey stations nationwide, giving a bet for the night. I, too, like the Kansas Jayhawks tonight. Rock, Chalk, J, Hawk, K, U. The rest of my bets for tonight at the end of the show. You Better You Bet Westwood One Sports. Nick Kostos here with you. I've said throughout the season, Mike Macdonald, the defensive Sean McVay. And to be fair, that is not a super unique take by me. Lots of people think it, and lots of people have said it. Isn't it juicy to consider that Mike Macdonald, who was hired in a large part, not just because he's a stud coach, which he obviously is, but is a coach that built a defensive system that is basically like the architecture of it and is structured to beat the Shanahan-McVay scheme, who obviously both coach in the NFC West. Think Ravens-Niners on Christmas a couple years ago when Lamar Jackson stole MVP from Brock Purdy and what Mike Macdonald did to Kyle Shanahan in that game. It's one of the reasons why he got the job in Seattle. Because John Schneider, who should be going to the Hall of Fame, like I said, he knows, man, we got to play these teams 4 times a year. We got to get someone that can shut these offenses down. Isn't it juicy? And isn't it just chef's kiss that on the road to Super Bowl 60, the Seahawks defense beats Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers, and Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams. I thought that Kyle Shanahan, we had Fred Warner on the show last week, right? The star 49ers linebacker, who was so good, he not just cool on the air, so cool off the air. And I was talking with Fred, both on and off air, about this. We said it on the air, too. I said, I can't believe your head coach is going to be on NBC doing the pregame show, Kyle Shanahan. Not that he won't be great, and he was great. Just like he didn't seem to be like the type of coach that would want to do that. Well, he did, and he was awesome. And a clip that went viral, and I retweeted it yesterday, and I'd actually encourage you can follow me on Twitter at the Kostos. I retweeted it last night. Was Kyle Shanahan talking about how hard the defensive scheme that Mike Macdonald has created is to crack, and why it's so hard, right? And why the fact that he plays with the two deep safeties and the down linemen being as good as they are, where you kind of have to wait for windows to develop, and by the time a receiver's open, you either A, have to throw it into a tight window, or B, avoid a pass rusher, or C, both. Defenses aren't going back. This is the blueprint now. And just the football nerd in me acknowledges that at this moment in time, where we have said for a long time, correctly, I think, Shanahan and McVay are kind of like the two kings of schematics in the NFL. Mike Macdonald has taken the crown. And I'm fascinated to see what the counterpunch is going to be next season. Because it's not just Shanahan and McVay. LaFleur, Andy Reid, lots of really good offensive. Mike McDaniel now in LA with the Chargers. Lots of really good offensive coaches. What do you think they're working on this offseason? Sean Mannion, what do you think they're working on this offseason? How in the world do we beat this defense? In the same way, defenses were saying, how in the world do we beat these offenses? Now we've 180'd. Now it's, how do we beat this defense? It is going to be fascinating to watch heading into next year what the counterpunch is going to be from the offensive head coaches, because let's be clear. When it comes down to it now, you can have your McVays and your Shanahans and your Reeds. But now it's Mike Macdonald, and y'all pay homage to the man. Woo! And speaking of the man, I would say that the man in this instance, the fantasy football community. Because if I'm going to use the 1992 Royal Rumble stuff there with Ric Flair, I will now say one of my favorite lines in the history of wrestling or life. When Mr. Perfect and Bobby the Brain Heenan say to each other, we're not the type of guys to say, we told you so, but we told you so. Fantasy football players have been saying for years that backfield belongs to Kenneth Walker. Zach Charbonnet's a good player. Kenneth Walker's 50 times better. How'd it go last night? And I did get a chuckle last night. I did. For Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. The report at the beginning of the game that Kenneth Walker told Kaylee Hartung of NBC, I'm doing this for my brother, Zach Charbonnet. Let me tell you something. Kenneth Walker, as far as a brother goes, probably Cain to Abel right now. Because Charbonnet tearing his ACL means Kenneth Walker won Super Bowl MVP, and he about to get paid. Hour one done, hour two for you coming up on the other side. We will start the hour with the great Herman Edwards from ESPN, talking Super Bowl 60.
we're getting towards awards and accolades just being completely meaningless now. I've grown a little fed up with that song. Yeah, I've grown a little fed up with LeBron James. Last week, the fake crying, the charade that he put on before playing the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. He hasn't formally announced that this is his retirement season, his farewell tour, yet we're kind of treating it that way, probably because we see the drop-off in his game this season. You look at the numbers, he's averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. This is a guy that last year was averaging 24.5 points. The year before that, 25.5 points. 2 years ago, 2021, 30 points per game. His average rebounds per game is the lowest in his entire career. The average of his assists is the second lowest in the last 10 years for him. His shooting 50% from the field is the second lowest in the last 7 years. His free throw percentage continues to be horrendous. It's at 73%. His three-point percentage is 33%. And nowadays we're playing a sport where there is routinely 240 points in a contest. So, on top of that, yeah, he had sciatica, which has limited him to just 31 games played this season. He didn't make his season debut until 15 games into the season. How is LeBron James an all-star over Kawhi Leonard? Makes no sense whatsoever to me. It basically just says that at this point, the NBA is giving him the honorary LeBron badge. You're LeBron James. Here you go. You're an all-star. And so now being an all-star in the NBA is just as meaningless as being named a Pro Bowler in the NFL, because we have Shedeur Sanders, a Pro Bowler. We've got LeBron James, an all-star, in a year where he's not an all-star. It's okay if LeBron James is not an all-star. We recognize he's one of the greatest players of all time. He hasn't been an all-star by any definition of the word or of the accolade this season. So why are we just giving it to him?
The biggest names in the business are on You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos.
Hey, this is Joe Buck, and you have done it. You have found it. You are listening to You Better You Bet. Great decision.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan of CBS, Westwood One, and TNT, and I'm listening, as you do every day, to You Better You Bet with the most handsome single man in the radio business. A man who, if I was not married for 38 years, I might consider myself the kind of guy that can electrify a listening audience and a crowd of bystanders watching him do what he does so well each and every day. Continue to listen right here on You Better You Bet.
This is You Better You Bet on Westwood One Sports, brought to you by BetMGM.
The magnificent Football Monday edition of You Better You Bet rolls on. Nick Kostos, our crew, and you here on Westwood One Sports. First hour of the show devoted to the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, thumping the New England Patriots last night in Super Bowl 60, 29-13. I'm not even done breaking down the Seahawks part of the Super Bowl. We haven't gotten to Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, and we will discuss Clint Kubiak, the offensive coordinator of the Seahawks, soon to be officially named head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, Clint Kubiak. We'll get into the Patriots disaster class last night, and I got a lot of interesting tweets about Drake Maye that I can't wait to share with everybody. The interaction today has been off the charts. Tweet me at the Kostos, TheKostos, YouTube chat, youtube.com/@thekostos. We'll continue to sprinkle them in over the balance of the show, and we will get to the halftime show with Bad Bunny, and I will give you my 100% correct opinion on the halftime show. But joining us right now is a true story. Herman Edwards is joining us on the show. I said to my executive producer, Bill Zimmerman, this morning, we're like, hey, like, who do we want to get on that can really put the Super Bowl into perspective? One of our absolute favorite guests. And I said, period, can we please get Herman Edwards on the show? And Coach Edwards is so generous with his time. I was watching him on ESPN this morning. He looks great. He's got the turtleneck on with the suit jacket. He looks awesome. Former NFL college football coach, NFL player, the great Herman Edwards of ESPN, joining us now on You Better You Bet. Herm, thank you very much. Happy Monday after the Super Bowl. I always appreciate you coming on. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. I think it probably went like I thought it would. I thought the Seattle Seahawks were a better team going into this, and I thought it was all going to be predicated by the guys up front defensively and also their offensive line, and they really dominated the game. And when it all comes down to that at the end, skilled players are skilled players, quarterbacks are quarterbacks. But the big guys up front kind of dictate the terms how the game's going to be played. And Seattle's a physical football team on both sides of the ball. They control the line of scrimmage running the ball offensively. And obviously defensively, they had their way with the Patriots offensive line.
Herm, you play defense at the highest level. You coach defense at the highest level. You know, it's one thing for me who didn't play and didn't coach. And I've been watching the NFL for a long time, but still, like, I didn't play and didn't coach. And I'm watching the game on my couch every week, and I see this defense be absolutely dominant over the balance of a season and dominance in the biggest spot in Super Bowl 60. When you watch the Seattle Seahawks defense and what they were able to accomplish, what are some things that stand out to you on what made this such a special unit this season?
Well, at every level, first of all, they have speed, and then they're very athletic. This is a very athletic defense, especially up front. When they can rush you with four guys and get there, that says a lot about their athleticism. And they bring guys in. I mean, they rotate them in now. It's not just the four. They've got 6, 7 of these guys that can rush the quarterback. And then they have a secondary, obviously, that they're very good in the back end. They're tied together. They don't do a lot. They don't try to, they don't try to fool you. They just kind of line up and play. They understand their strength. It's when you play defense, you realize the one thing that you're able to do, you can kind of dictate the terms what the offense can run or throw because of the coverages that you run. And there's some weaknesses in those coverages. They play a lot of zone. When you play zone, you rush 4, you drop back, and you play in your areas and you break to the ball. Now, they shrink the zones because, they'll match up in those zones. But imagine this, you drop back, you got 14 eyeballs staring at you. You got 7 guys dropping back in coverage, and they're all reading the quarterback. And once that ball is thrown, these guys are reacting to the ball. And once they get there with bad intentions. They get there to hit you. And that wears on offenses. That wears on receivers. They see it on tape. They go, uh-oh, you may catch it, but you're going to get hit. And that is kind of how they dictate the terms.
I don't think, Herm, just from our conversations, I don't think you love questions like this, but I want to ask it because I think it's really interesting. When you look at the two, and I know the season has just ended, right? But, this Seahawks defense was so good and authored such an incredible performance in the Super Bowl that I think a conversation that's going to come up is kind of like, where do the 2025 Seahawks defensively kind of rank in the history of the league? And I'm not asking you to give me a top 10 list, but when you watch this defense, do they strike you as an all-time historical defense, the 2025 Seattle Seahawks?
Well, when you think about football, how it's changed, the forward pass has become really the thing that sets a lot of teams apart and how you defend that pass. Because there's a lot of scoring in the National Football League. People like it that way. They like scoring. And with this defense, when you think about it, they don't give up a lot of points. They don't get 17 points a game. You don't score a lot on these guys. And so when you get into that situation, this is like old-time football, trying to score against Seattle Seahawks. In my day, when you scored, 17, 21 points, you won a lot of football games. In today's world, you got to score 24 or more. I mean, you got to be, you see games that gets into the 30s. They don't allow this to happen a lot. And that's old-time football. That's 20 years ago. And that's hard to imagine in today's world with all these great quarterbacks, these great receivers, these obviously offensive coordinators. But it doesn't matter when you play these guys. You're going to get hit. The score is going to be low. They take the ball away. And at the end of the day, your quarterback leaves the field and he's beat up.
Do you feel like, Coach, the pendulum has now swung back towards defenses versus offenses in the NFL, and defenses as a result of Mike McDonald winning the Super Bowl the way they did? Do defenses now have the upper hand on offenses after what seemed like a long time where offense had the upper hand on defense?
I think defenses have always been involved in it. I just think we talk so much about who? The quarterback. This is a quarterback-driven league. We always talk about the quarterback. That's the first subject that comes out of anybody's mouth. Who's the quarterback? Or who are you going to draft? They have a quarterback. What defenses allow you to do is this. They keep the score in check to where the quarterback that we talk about a lot, he can have some errors. He can have some foul balls. He can have a couple mulligans as he play golf. The fact that they keep the score intact where you don't have to every possession try to score. You may go 3 possessions and not even score. Guess what? Score might be 3-0. You're still in the game. Defenses allow you to play offense at a rate to where you can say, I can be more aggressive on offense. I can take some shots because my defense will keep me in the game. If I get a lead in this game, now all of a sudden the defense will dictate the terms. They will give me some extra possessions on offense because of the way they take the ball away. So that's all part of it. It's called team, and defense still, it travels because they don't play with a football.
How do you put, Coach, what Sam Darnold's been able to accomplish into perspective?
I think it's a great story. He's been he's played in the league 8 years. He's been to 5 teams. Is it a redemption tour? I don't know about that so much. It's more of his resilience. And I think if you're an athlete and you watch his road that he traveled, you tip your hat to him. And if you're in a spot similar to Sam Darnold, you realize, you know what? If I'm a mentally tough guy and I get opportunities, I got to continue to bet on himself. And that's what I like the most. He bet on himself. He never gave up. He just says, hey, man, I've been knocked down. A lot of guys who quit, especially at that position at quarterback. That's a tough position because you get exposed. And you take the blunt of the blame when you lose a football game, right? Like everyone's talking about Drake Maye right now. No. Okay, I get Drake Maye. He's going to be okay. But he got beat up, right? He can't block him. He can't catch the ball. He can't do any of that. You can say what you want. Say, well, okay, I get it. But he's the quarterback. He needs help. And when you can't block him, I don't care who you are. You ain't going to play very good at quarterback.
Can I take the Sam Darnold thing kind of like a different level for a second? Because, Coach, you're so right with what you said that he's someone that athletes should look at and kind of emulate, right? The way that he handled adversity. I think you'll agree with me when I say this, and I said it last hour on the show. I'll take it a step further. Like, I know, like, you're a dad, right? I'm a dad also. Like, I want my daughter to handle adversity in her life the way Sam Darnold did. I'm not trying to be hokey or dramatic when I say this or saccharine when I say this. Like, I look at this and say, this is an American success story. And this is kind of like you're teaching kids in school how to deal with adversity. How do you not put this guy's story at the top of the list with what he's been able to accomplish? Do you think I'm taking that too far? You agree with that?
Not at all. I think it's a good teaching lesson for all of us, regardless if you're a young person, old person, doesn't matter. And I think that the greatest thing, and I've always tried to explain this to young people, is that there comes a point in your life where you got to look in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm good enough. I'm good enough. And I'm going to put in the work. And when I fall down, I'm going to get up. And I'm going to keep going. And that's what perseverance is about. It's about the willingness to bet on yourself. You don't need confirmation to do that. You have to have enough. You have to have enough in you to say, I'm going to bet on me. right? And I'm going to find a way to get this done. Look, I wasn't drafted, by the way. I was a free agent. I was a free agent in the National Football League. And I bet on myself when I went to training camp. And I told myself, I'm good enough to play in this league. I'm good enough to be a starter because this is what I believe. It came true. Now, I was given the opportunity because you got to be given an opportunity. And when you get an opportunity, I always tell people like this. When opportunity knocks, first of all, you better be available and you better be prepared because it might not knock twice. You might only get one. And you better be ready when it comes. When they knock on the door, are you ready? And if you're not, they're going to move on. They're going to the next person. So you got to be able to willing to do that. And if you do that, you'll have a chance.
Herman Edwards here with us on You Better You Bet on Twitter at Herm Edwards, ESPN NFL analyst, former NFL and college football coach. Coach, would love to talk about the Patriots and get your perspective on the season it was for them and the season that it was for Drake Maye. Because I think a lot of people right now, perhaps I haven't gotten to it yet, but maybe me included, kind of look at this Patriots team and say, great job getting to the Super Bowl. Also, you were kind of fugazi in getting there. How do you put the Patriots season, Coach, into perspective now that it's done?
Their coach did a marvelous job, and their coaching staff. The players bought into it. They found a way to win games when at times you say, how did they win this one? They had an easy schedule. Yeah, whatever. You can say whatever you want. They found a way to win games. I think they probably did some things that maybe they didn't even expect. And I think this is a good learning lesson for them. Now, they won't be the same Patriot team they were coming next season because everybody understands what they accomplished. And their schedule is going to be a little bit more difficult. I think how they come into next season will tell you a lot about this football team. And I do think they'll be very competitive. Will the division get better? We'll see. They play in a division where they were 5-1 in their division. They ran away with the division. Will the division be better? Will Buffalo be better? You'd hope so. Will Miami get better? You would hope so. Will the Jets get better? You would hope so. But here again, they got a lot of players coming back. The coach did a marvelous job. And this team knows how to win.
Did Drake Maye's performance in the Super Bowl change the way you view his season at all, either right, wrong, or indifferent?
No. I mean, when you look at Drake Maye in the playoffs, he was just okay. And they won games. They found a way to win. He won a lot of games with his athleticism, his ability to run. He made some big-time throws at times. He's a young quarterback, second year, and he's going to learn a lot. He's going to learn a lot from this experience. You saw him last night when he went to the microphone. The kid was wounded, and I would tell him, hey man, if you're wounded, just think about the quarterback you just played against. This is 15, man. This is 15. This was his 15, and he won a Super Bowl. So as bad as you may feel, just take a look at the guy you just competed against and what he went through. This is part of it.
Final question, Coach, and I'm going to talk about this a little later, right? And it felt like this was kind of it. Every season's a great NFL season. I love the NFL. This was kind of like, I don't know if weird's the right word, but a different kind of NFL season, right? With the two teams that ended up playing in the Super Bowl and some of the big name quarterbacks not being there at the end that we've become accustomed to seeing. When Herman Edwards tries to compartmentalize the 2025 NFL season, how will you remember the season that ended last night in the Bay Area?
I think the NFL has done a wonderful job of really leveling the playing field in the NFL. I don't know if you're going to see teams that have dominant runs anymore. I just don't. I just think it's so close now. And we watch games every week. A lot of these games are won by one score. And every once in a while you get a blowout. But it's a very competitive league. And I think I like it. If you're a fan base, you got to be excited. If you're a fan for another team, like, whatever team, and you look at the two teams that just got in the Super Bowl. Let's just say if you're a Chicago Bear fan, this year. You got to be excited about the Chicago Bears. The year prior to that, you were wondering if you had a quarterback in Chicago. You didn't like the quarterback. That we messed up. We drafted the wrong guy. We should have drafted Jaden Daniels from Washington. Well, this year, he gets a new coach, and all of a sudden you go, whoa, wait a minute. What about our quarterback? Washington, they lose their quarterback. They figured out, you know what? Without that guy, we're not as good as we thought we were. He's going to be back next year. Patrick Mahomes, he'll be well, right? The Raiders are getting a new coach. They're going to get this young player, I would think, the kid from Indiana, to play quarterback. What's that going to look like? That's going to be interesting, right? So you go down the line on all these teams, the Giants. They get Coach Harbaugh now. They got a young quarterback, got a really good running back, got some good defensive linemen. They got some people that they like, right? I mean, so every team is like, if you're a fan, you got to look at it and go, hey, you know what? Okay, we got a chance. That's what makes the NFL so unique and so great.
Coach, you're unique. You are great and very generous with your time. And I sincerely appreciate it. You popping on with us throughout the NFL season here. You bet on Westwood One Sports with Nick Kostos. Thank you very much. I hope that you're about to get some time off. I hope you enjoy it, my friend.
Thank you, my friend. Anytime. Thanks for allowing me to be on.
Oh, thank you for coming on. The great Herman Edwards here on You Bet. Excellent perspective from Herm. His stuff on Sam Darnold. And look, we've all heard Herm talk. You knew his stuff was going to be great on Sam Darnold and what I call an American success story. I do want to say something slightly negative now. It's not about Herman Edwards. Herm's the best. Just because Herm brought it up. Far be it from me to make it about me, but I will for a moment here. As a fan of the New York Football Giants. So, like watching the Seahawks win the Super Bowl last night with Mike Macdonald spearheading the defensive revolution in the NFL. If you're out there listening or watching and you're a Giants fan, like me, does it make you feel good to know that John Harbaugh couldn't win a Super Bowl with Lamar Jackson at quarterback and Mike Macdonald running his defense? Doesn't make me feel good. Now here's Jackson Dart, Matt Nagy, and Denard Wilson. I mean, I'm not saying it can't go well. Also, no one cares at this moment right now, but I'm just saying, right? Like, do you think the Ravens wish that they had kept Mike Macdonald and fired John Harbaugh? That's a first guess. That's not after the fact. That was easy in the moment to know that the Ravens blew that. How in the world did they not win? And, like, we'll talk about the Seahawks and where, you know, this actually pisses me off. I'm going to do it right now. Where the Seahawks stand historically, and I don't even want to turn this into a hating thing on Seattle. They won the Super Bowl. You can never take it away from them. But I am starting to see, like, DVOA, and I don't want to hate on DVOA and Aaron Schatz, who does a great job. Like, I love some of these advanced statistics in the NFL. But it's like, what did I say about those Ravens teams with Lamar Jackson? The sultans of spreadsheets, the excellence of EPA, the dominators of DVOA. And then they get into a big game against Patrick Mahomes, the big bad wolf, the final boss, and tinkle down their leg. Congratulations. You're the greatest team in DVOA. Also, you don't even make the Super Bowl. So this, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the stats, sincerely. But we watch the games. We all watch, right? This idea that the 2025 Seahawks are a historically great team. Like, stop it. And I'm not trying to hate at all. They're good enough to win this Super Bowl. I think they are a great team, period. But to insinuate this is a team that's historically great, with Sam Darnold at quarterback, and I know JSN's awesome and it's a good line, and Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, stop it. Stop it. Come on. Get a grip. And this defense is great for Seattle. It is. But to say that, are they the 85 Bears? Who allowed, 10 points in 3 postseason games? Or are they the 2000 Ravens? Come on. I don't even think they're as good as the 2013 Seahawks, the LOB Seahawks. This Seahawks got shredded, sliced, and diced by Matthew Stafford. They gave up 27 points and 1 billion yards and 1 billion explosive plays in the NFC Championship game. Come on. Like, it was a defense that was good enough to win a Super Bowl championship. That's what matters. Is it one of the better defenses in the history of the league? Absolutely. I'm not taking anything away from them. Just like if we're going to do the historical thing, and I love to do it just as much, if not more than anybody, if we're going to try and place this team in history to insinuate that this dark side defense, where does that name come from? Am I missing something here? Like, where's Darth Vader? Like, is Grand Moff Tarkin calling the shots? Like, did they blow up Alderaan last night? I don't even know where it's coming from. It's a great defense. A great defense. Is it historically great? Really? Like, are they better than the 2015 Broncos? I don't even think they're the best defense of the last decade. Are we sure they're better than the Eagles last year? It's a great defense. Not hating. Great defense. But to insinuate that this is like a legendary team, the 2025 Seahawks, I don't even think, I think out of all the Super Bowl champions this decade, if you lined up, ready? The 2020 Bucks with Tom Brady in his first year. The 2021 LA Rams with Aaron Donald on the defensive line, Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp, and a healthy Odell Beckham Jr. The 2022 or 23 Chiefs. The 24 Eagles. I think all of those teams beat the 2025 Seahawks. You're going to take Sam Darnold over Mahomes? And I understand it's a team game, and the Eagles got him last year. I understand that. I didn't say the 24 Chiefs, the team that lost. I said the 23 Chiefs, the 22 Chiefs, the 21 Rams, the 20 Bucks, and the 24 Eagles. I think the 25 Seahawks are the worst of those teams. And if you're a Seahawks fan, you shouldn't. Who cares? Who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. You won. That's what matters. But, like, let's not retcon history here and make it like this team is one of the greatest teams of all time. They're not. And it's okay because you're world champions. But all-time great? Nah. On the other side, we'll talk about Clint Kubiak. He's going to be the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And a couple things that could have gone very wrong for the Seahawks in Super Bowl 60. We still have yet to dive into the disaster class that was the New England Patriots, the halftime show with Bad Bunny. Keep firing in the comments on YouTube, youtube.com/@thekostos. We got a lot of great tweets to get to as well here on a Monday on Westwood One Sports.
to take Illinois, my friend. And I know I'm having some connectivity issues right now, so hopefully you're going to be hearing me clearly on this. But Tyler Underwood, Brad Underwood's kid, who is on the staff, was interviewed today. And Illinois has, implemented some very creative schematics. And Tyler Underwood is responsible for Keaton Wagler, a guy that dropped 46, a true freshman sensation last time out against Purdue. He's been a revelation this year. But according to Tyler Underwood, he goes, hey, I talked to some of the assistants of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I talked to some of the assistants of the Boston Celtics, and he has taken some things from their playbook, picking their minds, and installed them in Illinois. Illinois spreads you out. They're the longest team in the country. That's pure fact, folks. They're number one in average height in the nation, and a team that generates a lot of second chance opportunities. The East Block Illini, they have a lot of Euros on this team. They're spectacular. They're well-oiled. They need to really tighten up defensively, but they are better than Michigan State. They may lose in East Lansing. A lot of people do, but Michigan State offensively still has some question marks. An outstanding defensive team, one of the best in the country, one of the best rebounding teams in the nation as well. But built for March, that's Illinois because of spacing, because of guard play, because of their sheer length. ILL again. No bias bleeding through it all.
Yeah, well, you guys know I'm going to Las Vegas, so I'm fired up about it. But tonight, one more for one more night. Hell yeah, I'm going. Of course I'm going. Yeah.
Just confirmed it right here.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and the crew. Presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
The voice of Seahawks offensive coordinator, soon to be freshly minted head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, Clint Kubiak, talking with Stacey Dales of NFL Network last night after the game. So Clint Kubiak confirming what we all knew. He'll be the next head coach in Vegas. And I will repeat the take that I gave you last week on Monday from Radio Row. So I'm flying to San Francisco last Sunday, right, to do the shows and start getting the notifications, right? Clint Kubiak chooses the Raiders, and then the Cardinals settle on Mike LaFleur. The Niners hire Raheem Morris, and did that to the first hour of the show last Monday at Radio Row was that. And I'll just repeat what I said in brief here on Kubiak and the Raiders. Maybe he's going to be an awesome coach and an awesome leader of men, clearly a really good schemer, and did a good enough job to A, win a Super Bowl with Sam Darnold, and B, become a head coach. The Raiders are really up against it. And I talked to people on air and off air about Fernando Mendoza, and very interesting the range that people have on Mendoza. Some people think he's going to be a stud. Others aren't convinced he's going to be a good NFL quarterback. And I'm not trying to, obviously there'll be tons of chatter leading up to the draft as it concerns Mendoza, who's likely to be, he's a huge favorite at BetMGM to be the number one overall pick. Maybe Mendoza's awesome and maybe Kubiak's awesome and they surprise right away. I think what's more likely is the Raiders come in last in their own division. And that's not a hating thing. The Broncos just went to the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs are going to be back, and we'll see if Mahomes plays in week 1. The Chargers are going to be awesome. Year 3 with Jim Harbaugh just hired Mike McDaniel to run the offense. So I think Clint Kubiak's going to be up against it, at least in year 1. Raiders probably need to trade Max Crosby, get a couple first-round picks, and really accelerate this rebuild. It's going to take a little bit of time. Doesn't mean it can't work. I just don't think it's going to work in 2026. And my opinion last night on Clint Kubiak, and I'm curious if you agree. You can let me know in the YouTube chat, tweet me at the Kostos, youtube.com/@the Kostos. I thought he called kind of a crazy game last night. Crazy in a bad way. Like, cue up Gnarls Barkley. I think he's crazy. So we reached a point, I don't know what, midway through the third quarter, where it became pretty obvious that all Seattle had to do to win the game was run the ball through as many times as possible until they didn't get a first down and then either punt or kick a field goal or score a touchdown. The only thing that could lose them the game was to take unnecessary chances throwing the football. And they kept doing it. I'm so happy that Chris Collinsworth said it. Towards the end of the game, on a 3rd and goal, Sam Darnold throws a pass to the sideline. That was like, I don't know, a couple inches away from getting pick 6, 98 yards by Marcus Jones. Why would you throw that? Why would you call that play? Why would you do it? Like, this was, and I think he's the best. And I don't know if we'll get to it today. I'll do it tomorrow if we don't get to it today, kind of like next year's Super Bowl odds. I think Kyle Shanahan is the cat's meow. I'm old. I think he's the best. You can make the case, and it's not all on him. Certainly not all on him. He was way too aggressive in Super Bowl 51 calling plays for the Falcons against the Patriots. Should have run. What happens if he just runs the clock out? Does Atlanta win? He got aggressive, right? I don't know if it would have mattered because the Patriots offense was so impotent. But it's like, Clint, honestly, Mike McDonald, we played the soundbite earlier. He's like, man, I don't want the season to end. Maybe he wanted it to be a game. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. It was like, we can close Pandora's box and win the Super Bowl, or leave that son of a bitch ajar and see what happens. And they were like, yeah, we'll leave it ajar. Let's have Sam Darnold throw a pass to the sideline. Like, crazy. Why would you do that? Windhorse meme. Well, why would they do that? I don't know. I think it's pretty stupid, but they won, and he's going to Vegas. Godspeed, Clint Kubiak, Super Bowl champion, new head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. You better you bet on this Monday. Nick Kostos here with you, Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM. Next segment, we're going to talk about us and the crew, and we'll read some of your tweets and YouTube comments. We'll talk about the halftime show. I'm going to give you my thought on it here. So, I know that the Bad Bunny choice was very controversial, and it turned into like a culture war thing, and God bless you if that's your opinion. Like, I don't consume things in that way, which is not to say that you can't. I don't care enough. I don't care. I love it. I don't care. I didn't watch the Turning Point show, although I will acknowledge this. And this is a music thing here. You can disagree. It's okay. It's a free country, right? If I had the choice of going to a kid, well, actually, I don't know, because I'll tell you, some of the clientele at this Bad Bunny thing was pretty special, if you know what I'm saying. If you like beautiful Latin women, this Bad Bunny performance was for you. So maybe I would actually choose to go to the Bad Bunny concert instead of the Kid Rock concert. But I'm being sincere, right? I grew up, I'm almost 43. I like Kid Rock's music. Like, just musically, I prefer Kid Rock to Bad Bunny. That's me. You don't have to agree. And I'm not going to tell you what to think, and I hope that you won't tell me what to think. Like, I don't care what you think. Why do you care what I think? I'm just saying musically, no politics. But I didn't watch the Kid Rock halftime show. I got to watch Bad Bunny. I got to see how this goes. I was fascinated to see how it would go. And people are so extreme in their opinions, right? And we'll read some of the tweets. And that's okay. Everyone's, and I mean this, there's no sarcasm in this statement. Everyone's welcome to their opinion, just like I'm welcome to mine, right? You can think it was the best halftime show ever. Honestly, I think that's a crazy statement. Look, let's be real. It's closer to the worst than the best. I guess like you can disagree with that. I'm going to say something really controversial. I thought it was, people are going to get pissed at this. I thought it was way better than Kendrick Lamar last year. Like, whose music do I prefer? Kendrick Lamar by a mile. But Kendrick Lamar, I don't know the songs on the new album. He didn't play any of his hits. He did not like us. Great. Okay, cool. I didn't like Kendrick Lamar and his halftime show last year. I thought Bad Bunny was better. And look, you may find this statement to be controversial. I think I speak for a lot of people. I don't mind that Bad Bunny did the halftime show. And I'm going to praise it in a second for a couple things. Like, I'm being real. Did it ruin it for me a little bit that I don't know what he's saying? Yes. Like, would I have liked it more if I spoke Spanish? And you know what another thing is just, I think we are learning here that like that high school has failed all of us. How about, my mom was born in Uruguay. Her whole side of the family speaks Spanish. I took Spanish for like 97 years in school. I can't speak, I can understand some things. I can't speak it worth a damn. How many of us took Spanish in school and don't know it? How many? The education system's failed all of us. Unbelievable. So I'll be honest, right? And you could say that this is like xenophobic. It's not. There's no prejudice here at all. Would it have made my experience better if I understood what he was saying? Yes. Like, would I have preferred, for instance, like, I understand that Lady Gaga's been there and done that. Like, would I have preferred Lady Gaga do the halftime show? Yes, I would have preferred that. I also found it funny that here's Lady Gaga to do a song that, like, Bad Bunny has nothing to do with. She's doing, like, a Latin-inspired version of the song she did with Bruno Mars last year. What? Like, I mean, like, what's, like, is Metallica going to come out and do, like, a Latin-inspired version of Enter Sandman? Like, what would that even be? Like, Fuerza Light? Like, Entra Noche? I don't know. Like, let's just get random performers here to do Lady Gaga has nothing to do with it. I liked it. I'm just saying. Also, like I said to start the show, like, Ricky Martin's cool. Okay. Ricky Martin's way too handsome. Now, I mean, it's just like, you see Ricky Martin and you're like, man, it's like, I'm a straight man. You'd be very confident in my sexuality. You look at Ricky Martin and you say, thank God Ricky's on the other team because I would never leave my wife around Ricky Martin. He's way too handsome. But just like Ricky Martin and Lady, what? Can we get some Drake? Like, Drake and Bad Bunny have an awesome song. Like Cardi B's Dancing, which, by the way, like, very funny if you're into the prediction markets and some of like what went on there. Do I win my Cardi B bet or not? That was pretty fascinating. Like, can we infuse it with a little more English? You may hear that and say, well, you're a bigot. Am I? Is that such a terrible thing to say? Now, I'm going to compliment it. I really enjoyed the spectacle. Like, I enjoyed what I don't love the music. I'm being honest, right? But listen, I'm almost 43. You know what I listen to 90% of the time? Video game music. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to paint myself as like, I'm like, I should be writing for Rolling Stone. I listen to Frank Sinatra and video game music. And when I go to the gym, I listen to Jay-Z, or I listen to Linkin Park, or I listen to Metallica. I'm not like the paragon of music. Am I a huge fan of Bad Bunny's music? No. If I have a couple drinks, am I going to be into it? Probably. But would I seek it out? Probably not. But with that being said, the spectacle was great. The set was really cool. Like, what's going on with all the people, like the celebration of Latin culture, I thought it was awesome. Like I said to my wife was watching it with me. I was like, this is really cool. Like, did I understand what he was saying? No. Do I like the music? Not really. But was I entertained? I was. Like giving the Grammy to the little kid. Like an actual real wedding going on. Did I mention also that there's just scores of beautiful women dancing in provocative fashion, and we can all be prude and ostrich and put our heads in the sand to pretend like men like me don't like that, or we can be honest and say we all loved it. What's not to like? Beautiful women dancing provocative. Like, oh my God, think of the children. How could you do this? Oh my God, the NFL. Oh God, how come? Oh my God. Me clutch my pearls and throw my fine china into the wall. Stop it. It's okay. You can admit that you like looking at attractive women. It's okay. It's not that big a deal. And for the NFL, you don't have to like their decision to have Bad Bunny do the halftime show. But you should understand it. The NFL knows that we collectively, and I got a tweet about this, and I'm sorry to the person who tweeted me if you're listening or watching, because I'm stealing your tweet, but I think it was so right. The NFL knows that it's got all of us hook, line, and sinker. Like, I don't speak Spanish. Like I don't know. You could have Rammstein do the halftime show in German. I'm going to watch it. It doesn't matter because I love the NFL. Like, I'm never not watching. They've got me. Whether you like it or not, Bad Bunny is so famous worldwide that having him do the halftime show is going to expose the NFL to new people. So again, you don't have to like it, but I think you can understand it. And if you're out there listening or watching, I'm not going to criticize you, and I promise this is not a criticism. But if you're looking at all of this as like some grand statement on politics, I disagree with you. And it's okay. We can have a civil disagreement, right? It's for entertainment. I thought it was fine. I would give it a C. It was average. I didn't like the music. I like the spectacle. I like beautiful Latin women. I give it a C. And I think that is fair. You agree or disagree? Tweet me at the Kostos, TheKostos. Let me know in the YouTube chat, youtube.com/@thekostos. On the other side, we'll take a trip to Kenny's Corner, talk about the halftime show, and more on Westwood One Sports, presented by BetMGM.
going to take Illinois, my friend. And I know I'm having some connectivity issues right now, so hopefully you're going to be hearing me clearly on this. But Tyler Underwood, Brad Underwood's kid, who is on the staff, was interviewed today. And Illinois has, implemented some very creative schematics. And Tyler Underwood is responsible for Keaton Wagler, a guy that dropped 46, a true freshman sensation last time out against Purdue. He's been a revelation this year. But according to Tyler Underwood, he goes, hey, I talked to some of the assistants of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I talked to some of the assistants of the Boston Celtics, and he has taken some things from their playbook, picking their minds, and installed them in Illinois. Illinois spreads you out. They're the longest team in the country. That's pure fact, folks. They're number one in average height in the nation, and a team that generates a lot of second chance opportunities. The East Block Illini, they have a lot of Euros on this team. They're spectacular. They're well-oiled. They need to really tighten up defensively, but they are better than Michigan State. They may lose in East Lansing. A lot of people do, but Michigan State offensively still has some question marks. An outstanding defensive team, one of the best in the country, one of the best rebounding teams in the nation as well. But built for March, that's Illinois because of spacing, because of guard play, because of their sheer length. ILL again. No bias bleeding through it all.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and the crew. Presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
Couple YouTube comments. One, being from Uruguay. How about shout out to that? Uruguayan references on the show today. My mom and our friend Mark. Halftime show was amazing, but understands people not understanding the lyrics. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm being real with everybody. I thought it was fine. Also, as someone who speaks English, I would have preferred an English speaker. Call me a bigot if you want. I think it's a perfectly reasonable opinion. Our friend Bob, Bad Bunny did a great show. Don't speak Spanish, but he could figure out what's going on. Sure. I don't know if I would say it was great. It was good. It was okay. It was fine. Fine. And our friend Brian Van Gorder, hot women never hurt. Not gonna lie. Truer words have never, ever, ever been spoken. Couple minutes left in hour number 2. Will Brinson joins us in hour 3. All the bets for tonight in hour 3, and an autopsy for Drake Maye and the New England Patriots from a disastrous performance in Super Bowl 60. But a couple minutes now spent with our friend Kenny Henderson in Kenny's Corner. Kenny, welcome to the show. What do we got first?
Let's drop the beat here. We got, not the most exciting game last night, but winning the Super Bowl once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And Seahawks star corner Devin Witherspoon wasn't shy to let us know how he was celebrating.
Go celebrate with him now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm going to have a drink or 2 or maybe 3. Who knows?
Oh, man, what a legend. That's what honestly, Bill Zimmerman, Tyler Morales with me as well, along with Kenny. We talk about sometimes, like, ranking beers, right? You ever seen people do this? Like, what's the best beer? There's airport beer. My favorite beer was always, like, in college, like the shower beer before you went out, because, you were all alcoholics in college, or at least I was. Is there a better beer or smoke than the I just won the Super Bowl and now I'm getting high smoke? Bill, as someone who may or may not partake in these things, what is your opinion on this?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been able to celebrate at that kind of level. I mean, as a fan, I love the post beer, the post cigar, post, vape, whatever you're going to do. So as a fan, if it's the best, I can only imagine what it'd be like if you actually participated in the game and won the Super Bowl.
Tyler Morales is with us. For people not watching on video, Tyler, your hair looks great, and I mean that sincerely. So I don't know what I guess it was because we left on Friday. So Thursday night, we go out to dinner, right, in San Francisco. Me, Bill, my agent, Tim Scanlon, Mitch is there, Jeff Sotolano. Bill and I walk back to the hotel. We talk with Raj Sharan, who produces for Black and Abdallah. Great guys, by the way. Like, really enjoyed spending time with those guys in San Francisco. We'll have them on the show more often. And we're about to go upstairs, and I forget what Bill said to me, Tyler. It was something like, do you want to go over, I thought he said, do you want to go over a couple hits? And in my head, I'm thinking, he wants to, plan the show out for tomorrow and the guests. And I'm like, well, we can go do that inside in the hotel. And he goes, no, and hands me this pen and reveals to me that the first thing he did when he landed in San Francisco was Google nearest dispensary, and it was right down the block. I took 2 hits of these things, had a conversation with an executive at another company, and looked at Bill and said, do you think that person knew I'm stoned off my ass right now?
I mean, Bill, that's my kind of guy. Last time I went on a trip with Chicago, and the first thing I did when I landed was the same exact thing. Local dispensary. We got to our Airbnb. I literally walked to this place by myself. So that's the first thing I did. So I mean, shout out you. That's what I would have done. But if I won the Super Bowl, Devin Witherspoon, I would have been that times 10. You wouldn't be able to tell me anything. I'd be taking shots and drinking on the field. He's a better man than I am. But
you would have been. You'd be ignorant.
I would have been nuts. Yeah, I mean, if I won the Super Bowl, and I played the game he did, absolutely, yeah. You couldn't tell me anything.
Belligerent.
Yes.
At some point, do we have to talk about San Francisco?
Do we have
to? It's all you.
I don't know. Well, just because what's being made of it now is actually, it's really great there. Is it? I don't know, Bill, how did you fear for your safety? How many points did you fear for your safety walking around San Francisco?
Not a good time to be out at 4:30 in the morning in San Francisco heading to Radio Row. It's not good.
No, final hour, power hour on the other side. We'll start talking the New England Patriots.
to take Illinois, my friend. And I know I'm having some connectivity issues right now, so hopefully you're going to be hearing me clearly on this. But Tyler Underwood, Brad Underwood's kid, who was on the staff, was interviewed today. And Illinois has, implemented some very creative schematics. And Tyler Underwood is responsible for Keaton Wagler, a guy that dropped 46, a true freshman sensation last time out against Purdue. He's been a revelation this year. But according to Tyler Underwood, he goes, hey, I talked to some of the assistants of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I talked to some of the assistants of the Boston Celtics, and he has taken some things from their playbook, picking their minds, and installed them in Illinois. Illinois spreads you out. They're the longest team in the country. That's pure fact, folks. They're number one in average height in the nation, and a team that generates a lot of second chance opportunities. The East Block Illini, they have a lot of Euros on this team. They're spectacular. They're well-oiled. They need to really tighten up defensively, but they are better than Michigan State. They may lose in East Lansing. A lot of people do, but Michigan State offensively still has some question marks. An outstanding defensive team, one of the best in the country, one of the best rebounding teams in the nation as well. But built for March, that's Illinois because of spacing, because of guard play, because of their sheer length. ILL again. No bias bleeding through it all.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and the crew. Presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
Bring it up, Kenny. Nick Kostos, our amazing crew, and you. The Power Hour and every hour here on You Better You Bet, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary by downloading the BetMGM app and visiting BetMGM.com. And look, we'll get to some college basketball at the end of the show. We look forward to that. No matter the matchup, betting with boosted odds makes every basket mean more. Activate your odds boost token for any college basketball bet, and you'll receive a bigger payout if your bet wins. Get set for tip-off with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly. Man, we got Arizona and Kansas tonight. They call it the fog, right? I have that right, just like making sure. It's like sounds right in my head. Just want to make, yes. I was like 99% sure that was right. I don't know why I had that moment of indecision. Can't wait for that game. How about St. John's coming off the rowdy win at the Garden over UConn this weekend? St. John's more than a 2-touchdown favorite against Xavier. Father versus son. Patino v. Patino coming up tonight. Anyone want to take the points with the Musketeers? Fading St. John's off the big win against UConn? We'll talk about it at the end of the show, and the NBA slate where, look, very quickly on the NBA. The fact that we're not even at the All-Star break, and I get it. I really do. And teams are already actively tanking. Like the Utah Jazz the other night, sitting Jaren Jackson and Lauri Markkanen for the entire fourth quarter while they're healthy. It's not great. Now, as Tyler Morales says in our chat, Darren Peterson, who you'll watch tonight for Kansas, looks like he could step onto an NBA court right now and be like, a top 25 player in the league already. He's sick. DeBonsa's good. I don't know if he's as good as Darren Peterson, but you got AJ DeBonsa. Boozer. There are so many good freshmen in college basketball this year. You understand why, because that's how you unlock the rebuild. If you're the Wizards, if you're the Jazz, you're one of these teams. You got to get a top pick. Ideally, you want number one to take Peterson, but man, you want a top pick. It's tough right now. It's like the regular season in the NBA is broken. I'm not the first person to say this. I won't be the last. We can actually move on past this, but just wanted to give my opinion there. So handicapping the NBA this morning, what are we doing here? Let's talk some football. Will Brinson will join us 20 minutes from now from CBS Sports My Buddy to talk Super Bowl 60, talk the halftime show. I gave you my opinion on it. Keep on firing the comments on YouTube, youtube.com/@thekostos. We'll continue reading them. We have a ton of tweets. I don't know if we'll get to them today, but we will get to a lot of them coming up tomorrow on the show, if not. All right. We need some kind of tagline for the show, like we tell the truth. I don't know. Like the truth, like sports with truth serum. Always want to tell the truth on the show. So let's tell the truth about the New England Patriots and their performance last night and their season. We'll start with the good. It's a 10 out of 10. Well, unless you want to say a 10 out of 10 season, only one team has it, the team that wins. 9.5 out of 10 as a season for the New England Patriots. And yes, the schedule was insanely easy. And Patriots fans get so, and it's just fans in general, I get it, so sensitive. Why can't we just again, tell the truth? The schedule's easy. The playoff path was insane in the AFC. Justin Herbert and the impotent Chargers offense, they fire the offensive coordinator. C.J. Stroud, one of the worst playoff games ever been played by a quarterback. And then Jarrett Stidham in the snow. Come on. Look, they won 14 games. They clearly have their franchise quarterback. And they played for a Super Bowl championship. The season, despite how it ended, listen to me here. Because I know, everyone's got a problem, right? Everyone wants to harp and latch on to the negative. Hear me in full. The season is a rousing success for Mike Vrable, Drake Maye, and the New England Patriots. Next sentence. As we tell the truth, last night's performance by New England, specifically Drake Maye and the offense, was pathetic. It was atrocious. It was embarrassing. To the degree that, if Drake, and he almost won, if Drake Maye had won MVP over Matthew Stafford, which he didn't, but almost did, and I understand it's a regular season. I get it. You don't have to, but it's a regular, you don't know it's a regular season award? Let me tell you something. I know everything, okay? Doesn't mean I'm right with all my opinions, but you think I don't know what's going on? Stop it. If Drake Maye had won MVP, what a disgrace that would have been in retrospect. He's miserable last night. And look, is it possible that his shoulder was really screwed up. I actually think that might be true. And the reason why I say that, in the first couple rounds of the playoffs, first 3 rounds, Wild Card Division Championship Sunday, was Drake Maye great in those games? He wasn't, right? He wasn't great. He was worse in the Super Bowl than he was in any of those games. And he was amazing in the regular season. Now, maybe he's not Mahomes, and he's not, or Allen, or Lamar, or Burrow, whatever. He's way better than we saw last night. Way better. So again, we're telling the truth, right? He was horrendous last night. I'm not defending him. He was bad. He was double clutching. His internal clock was sped up. And look, he got the crap kicked out of him for 4 playoff games straight. Most sacked quarterback in the history of any postseason. You can't miss open receivers the way he did. And he missed a ton of them. And thankfully, he missed some at the end because the game almost went over the total, and I would have been throwing stuff into the wall with my underbed, holding on for dear life at the very end. Here's what I'd say to everybody. Again, Drake Maye was bad. This is not actually he was good, and let me tell you why what you saw was a lie. But I'll ask you, do you think something might have been up with Drake Maye? He wasn't just bad. He was so bad. And in the regular season, he was so good. So good, so good. What's this weekend? Where it began. Missing open receivers. Watching Will Campbell get trucked. And you know what would happen to Will Campbell? It was hands, touching chest, pushing him back, all the way back into Drake. I mean, can we move Will Campbell to guard right now? I mean, this guy is not a tackle. So, sorry. And maybe you kick him into guard and he's Joe Thuney. I don't know. This guy is not a tackle. He's not a left tackle. We saw Drake Maye be so good in the regular season that I can't help but think something's up. Now, maybe your counter to that would be it's the big moment and he shrunk in the big moment. And you might be right. And here's the fun thing about sports. We're going to find out because he's going to play next season. And we're going to find out one way or another, right, wrong, or indifferent, good or bad, if Drake Maye wilted in the big spot or if he was hurt. He said after the game they shot him up before the game. There's no way his shoulder was totally right. We was, they lied on the injury report. What do you think goes on in this league? Oh, well, what a scandal. Is it? I don't know. I'd probably lie if I were them. You're trying to win the Super Bowl. The guy, you think they care what I think or what you think? They're trying to win a championship. You bet on this Monday. So now there are people, and I got a lot of good tweets on this topic, man. We're going to read some of them to you tomorrow. It's going to be great. Did Drake Maye's performance in Super Bowl 60 change how you feel about him and his season? My opinion, while acknowledging I don't have the answer yet. We're going to find out, right? In a couple of years, we're going to know, right? But until then, we can only just tell you what we think. I don't think it ruins the season. I don't think it does. I get it. The schedule was easy, and they played backup quarterbacks and teams that fired their coaches. It was like a magic the red carpet rolled out for them to the Super Bowl. I understand. He was also magnificent for the vast majority of the season. He was. He almost won MVP. We can't retcon what just happened based on Super Bowl 60. I'm using the word retcon a lot. I have to be honest. I really like it. People use it I think I first saw it used with Star Wars. Han Solo's alive, they retconned it. I kind of, they wouldn't you basically create your own history, make it up, revisionist history. Drake Maye was great this season, and he's going to be really good next season. Do you really think that Drake Maye's just going to suck next year? He's going to be bad now? Come on. He had a bad game. I think it's probably a combo of maybe he wilted a little bit under the bright lights, maybe he's hurt, and maybe his offensive line was a total train wreck. Right? Is that fair to say? Like Will Campbell and Jared Wilson and Garrett Bradbury and company, like to call them a turnstile, I think is incorrect. Because a turnstile is like you just run around them or you run through them. No. This was like for people that watch The Challenge on MTV. When CT like basically had put Johnny Bananas on his back and power walked across the sand. Or like when Jeff Van Gundy was clinging to Alonzo Mourning's leg for dear life during a Knicks Heat brouhaha in the late 90s. No, this wasn't turnstile. This was physical domination of the Patriots' offensive line. So look, it was bad. It was really bad for New England. But man, like to think that like they're just done now and May's going to suck is so stupid. I'm sorry. And I think I'm really fair on the show when I say to people, right? Like, opinions are opinions, and I don't have to be right, and I can be wrong, and you can be right, or vice versa. I actually think it's wrong to say, like, Drake Maye sucks. Like, I hope people don't think that. I'm getting tweets that they do, that he just stinks now. There's no way. Now, the Patriots are in a little bit of a spot of trouble here. Because... and I thought NBC did a great job of talking about this during the game. You bet on this Monday. Nick Kostos here with you, Westwood One Sports. Was the number 30? It was 30, right? 30 first-year players. The most ever for a Super Bowl team. Think about how many times over the past couple weeks, months, the season, I've praised the Patriots for what they did in free agency last year. Typically, you don't see teams spend the type of money they did, bring in the sheer volume of players that the Patriots did, and have it work at all, much less to this degree. Milton Williams, Stephon Diggs. There were some really funny Stephon Diggs memes last night. Very funny. Milton Williams, Stephon Diggs, Carlton Davis, Landry, Spillane. We can go down the list. It was an outrageous offseason from New England. You had Christian Gonzalez take the next step. Did Chris Collinsworth bet Christian Gonzalez to win Super Bowl MVP? Like the Seahawks are up 12-0. The Patriots have negative 8 yards of total offense, and Chris Collinsworth keeps saying Christian Gonzalez is the best player on the field. Who cares? And you know I think Chris Collinsworth's the best. Just like the Christian Gonzalez agenda was a little too much last night. He was great in the game. Also, his team got annihilated. The Patriots are going to have to draft well now because you can't depend on free agency every year. You're going to have to draft well, and maybe they will. But then again, maybe they won't. You know my opinion on Buffalo. I think the Bills are going to be better next year with Joe Brady. It didn't matter who they hired. Better without Sean McDermott. I think Buffalo is going to be better. I think Baltimore is going to be better with Jesse Minter. The Chiefs can't be worse than they were last year. Can C.J. Stroud get his head screwed on straight? The New England Patriots in this run with Drake Maye, and I'm actually going to extend this. There may not be another team in the history of sports that has an easier run to the championship than the 2025 Patriots just did. It may never happen again in sports, much less in the NFL. And they lost. We may look back on it 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 5 years from now, and say this was their best chance. I'm not trying to be a hater when I say that. Joe Burrow and the Bengals have missed the playoffs 3 straight years. Burrow lost at Super Bowl in year 2. Dan Marino never got back to the Super Bowl after getting annihilated by the Niners in Super Bowl 19. This is not to say that Drake Maye can't go back to a Super Bowl or New England can't go back. They've got a lot of good young players on the team. Vrabel's an outstanding coach. McDaniels isn't going anywhere. Just that, if I were a Patriots fan, I'd be a little nervous that this was your best shot. And they missed. And they lost. Let's take it to the next level. Because I like to frame things historically, right? Historical context. Now, I will only use 1990 to present day. 1990 is the first year I watched. I can give you opinions, but to be fair, like I wasn't watching those seasons like I've been watching the seasons from 90 on. From 1990 on, there's a case to be made. If you're a Patriots fan, like you're going to hate this, but I think like, again, like let's just tell the truth, please. That they're one of the 3 worst teams to make a Super Bowl in the last 25 years. Or let's call it 35 years. Since 1990, 36 years. I would put them on the list, on a short list, with the 1994 Chargers, who upset the Steelers in Pittsburgh and then just got destroyed by the 49ers and Steve Young. And honestly, my 2000 New York Giants. And you know I love the Giants. I think it's the 94 Chargers, the 2000 Giants. Honestly, you could put the Bengals on the list, but I mean, they almost beat the Rams in the Super Bowl. 94 Chargers, 2000 Giants, 2025 Patriots. The worst teams to make the Super Bowl. And if you're being honest, I think you could probably come to grips that that's true. Or maybe you disagree. Maybe you think another team should be on that list, whatever. Just that the Patriots were not a worthy AFC champion. And it's not their fault. If I were them, I would have gone to the Super Bowl too. I get it. Josh Allen had to be watching this game last night and want to pour himself a nice tall glass of Clorox. How devastated do you think Sean Payton and Bo Nix were watching the game last night? Liam Cohen and Trevor Lawrence. C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans. Hell, Patrick Mahomes and his torn ACL. Imagine John Harbaugh watching the game last night. I mean, come on. Come on. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we'll continue to put the 2025 NFL season into more perspective. Herman Edwards said earlier in the show that this is a parity-driven league now. We had all these new teams. Great. In this particular instance, I don't think that difference meant better. I don't think so. We said in the moment, and Patriots fans took it as some grand disrespect, and it's not. It wasn't. We're just telling the truth. The Super Bowl was the NFC Championship game. Just like it used to be in the early 90s with Cowboys and Niners. Rams Seahawks was the NFC Championship game. And it was the Super Bowl. Patriots Broncos was just who's going to end up losing to the Rams or the Seahawks. So for the Patriots, great season, a lot to be proud of. Drake Maye is going to be awesome moving forward. I think that might have been your best shot to win a Lombardi trophy in this era. We'll take a break. On the other side, Will Brinson from CBS Sports will join us. Will has just joined the call. Will, I am very late. I apologize. You have to hang for a few minutes. Sorry, my friends. Will Brinson will join us on the other side. All my bets for tonight will wrap up the show on a Monday on Westwood One Sports.
Yeah, this is was really a 1A, 1B for me. I mean, I love Wrigley Field with a fiery passion, but I've been to this venue, and it is iconic. I think it's still a little bit underrated on the national scene, and it is unlike any other sports arena in the country to see a hoops game, and that's Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, the home of the Purdue Boilermakers. Of course, Illinois just won there over the weekend, but you're right on top of the action. They see about 14,000 in there. It is rowdy, it is raucous, and it is downright loud. It is unlike any other basketball arena in the country. You know, some of the, the ones that are, they're all in the round, obviously, but like the United Center is rather cavernous. This is not, even though it's got 14,000 people in there. Again, you're right on top of everything. You can hear everything. It's just an amazing place. The energy is through the roof, and bar none, my opinion, Mackey Arena takes the cake here. Best venue in sports to see any type of game, and preferably, of course, hoops.
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and the crew. Presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
Mike Tirico with the call last night on NBC. Bets for tonight will close the show. A lot more to get to tomorrow as it concerns Super Bowl 60. I guess we scratched the surface. We got to a lot of stuff today. A lot more tomorrow, including I have my early prediction as to who's going to win Super Bowl 61. I feel really good about it, actually. And in case people missed it, Atlanta Falcons rookie pass rusher James Pierce involved in like a ridiculous story over the weekend. You can look it up if you want to. I think he's probably going to jail, and people can look up the story. Crashed his car into his girlfriend's car and then into a police officer's car. Not great. Andy Slater, who covers the NFL down in South Florida. James Pierce faces a minimum of 5 years in prison if he's convicted of just one of the charges against him. Not great. And just to take this into sports, the LA Rams have the Falcons' first-round pick as a result of the James Pierce trade. I'll have to let that hang for a second. Joining me now here on the show to help break down Super Bowl 60, we'll get his opinion on the halftime show as well, is my good friend, the very talented, the very witty, the charismatic Will Brinson and well-bearded Will Brinson from CBS Sports, on Twitter at Will Brinson. You can read all of Will's work at CBSSports.com. You can watch him on CBS Sports HQ, and does a great job as a betting analyst as well for our friends at Sportsline. How's Super Bowl Sunday treat you, my friend?
Not bad. I was big on the under. I thought this would be a low-scoring Super Bowl. I thought I had Seahawks alts and the under in the game. So, I mean, pretty good. Like, could have been better. Props weren't very good. I wouldn't say I'm rich. But yeah, I was worried. The Mike Vrable factor and the fact that like Carolina hit a walk-off 3 to beat Duke on Saturday was like a bad omen for Drake Maye, like doing something magical. And the reality was it just wasn't ever going to happen, right? Like Matt Collins, RJ White, shout out to my colleague RJ White. He had Matt Collins overs. That was a great look because Matt Collins was the primary offense. But I mean, like, and I was like, as an NC State guy, I was not like there. So I AMC'd the Pinewood Derby, which is like a Boy Scouts thing, right? And all the kids, the entire time, I was basically just heckled by Drake Maye fans, like young Drake Maye fans, all these kids wearing Drake Maye jerseys because all the Carolina fans are huge Drake Maye fans. So I was rooting for Seattle. So a positive result, get the under, get Seattle. And I think, you said it, like, I don't know that it was definitively, it was always going to be a blowout. Like, I don't think New England never had a chance. My favorite stat, Nick, from Super Bowl Sunday is from Front Office Sports. Next Gen Stats tracked Bad Bunny carrying the football during the halftime show for 124.4 total yards. The Patriots had 79 rushing yards in the game. Bad Bunny outrushed the Patriots in this football game. I mean, and like, I know that New England ended up, like, Drake Maye isn't going to go down as the worst. It's not going to go down as the worst quarterback performance in Super Bowl history. But if they don't get the garbage time touchdown and the garbage time yards, it probably is pretty close to it. I think his shoulder was more banged up than maybe the Patriots let on.
I agree.
And I think we'll see some kind of
he could have been bad organically. He was so bad last night that it's hard to imagine that it wasn't bothering him. I'm not making excuses for him. He was bad. It's hard to imagine it wasn't bothering him to some degree, right?
Well, and the game plan from Josh McDaniels was a lot of like really short passes really early. And I realized that, Will Campbell and that left side of the line wasn't doing their job. It wasn't stopping Seattle at all. And Seattle has a great pass rush. Seattle like an all-time defense, which is incredible that John Schneider's built up 2 of these defenses in the span of like a decade or whatever. But like it was very clearly they were not trying to attack downfield, couldn't attack downfield. And even like Drake Maye, that first pass he threw over 15 yards was an absolute moon ball that looked like, 40-year-old Russell Wilson throwing it, and it went out of bounds. It wasn't close. I mean, he had, and Sam Darnold wasn't great in this game either. The Patriots defense stepped up and tried to keep him in the game. But the reality was, that offense, with that offensive line and the issues they have there, with Drake Maye and the issues he had, whether it's with his shoulder or the turnovers, and he's been prone to turnovers the entire postseason, with the weapons they had and the inability to run the ball, was never going to beat Seattle in that game without some really fluky stuff going New England's way. And I think Seattle knew that. I think that's why they banged down a bunch of field goals early.
What's funny about that? I'm curious if I'm guessing you agree with this. It's like Pandora's box, right? You can either shut it or you can leave it open ajar. And it felt like the Seahawks were committed to leaving it open ajar, where I couldn't believe how many times Clint Kubiak and Sam Darnold put the ball into harm's way or calling pass plays when I didn't think they needed to. Like, Darnold almost threw a pick 6 on the first play of the game. Now, he didn't, and he doesn't end up throwing interceptions. I don't know if it would have mattered with the way the Seahawks defense played against New England's offense. It felt there. I actually feel like there are versions of this game that are way closer because Seattle, in my opinion, was way too cavalier with the play calling, and Darnold was too cavalier with where he put the football.
I had one of my favorite plays was Sam Darnold under 29.5 passing attempts because I thought the game was going to go like this. If you told me Kenneth Walker ran 27 times for 135 yards against this New England defense, and that the Patriots scored They scored 0 points before the fourth quarter, then correct. I would feel like that Sam Darnold under on the pass attempts was an absolute mortal lock because they wouldn't attempt to put it in harm's way. Now, I do think that what Kubiak and the Seahawks did from like just a game planning perspective and an approach perspective to throw when New England maybe wasn't expecting it was smart in some spots, and it did keep them on their heels, and it did allow Kenneth Walker to kind of get some open yards in terms of rushing. But yeah, like that 38 passing attempts for Sam Darnold in that game is pretty wild considering how it went. And I do believe that, you know, while they did leave it ajar just because it was like, all right, like, you know, they're, you know, it's like what, 12-0 and they're making the field goals. New England's not doing anything. You know, they punted on all like the first 6 of their possessions, I believe. Yes, they left it ajar, but they were also like, we know what we have to get to win this game from an offensive perspective. And that if we get to like 19 points, there's almost no chance, given how our defense is playing, that the Patriots are going to come back. So when they scored that A.J. Barner touchdown, it's 19-0. You know, that really felt like the nail in the coffin, even if the Patriots immediately got a long touchdown to Drake Maye after that.
Will Brinson, CBS
Matt
Sports.
Collins from Drake Maye.
Will Brinson here with us on the show. CBS Sports on Twitter at Will Brinson. You Bet Westwood One Sports. Nick Kostos here with you, presented by BetMGM. We have about 10 minutes left, Will. I have like 5 things I want to hit you with, so let's try and do a little lightning round here. I mentioned at the top of the show, like for you as well, it's a good betting night. Like props were good, side was good, total was good. We were both on the under. Now, for people that don't bet,
a little sweaty.
I think I would say you were like Patrick Ewing at the free throw line in double overtime. So, I mean, just like this was, the bet was over. Like the game was over. It was a dead under. And then at the end of the game, here's the pick 6, and then here's the Drake Maye touchdown to Matt Collins, and then we got another Patriots touchdown. Take us through the sweat at the end of the game with the under. I felt it. You did. For people that bet the game. And if you didn't bet, just think about this, right? You made a bet. It's a great bet. It's going to win. And then maybe it's not. 1 to 10, the sweatiness of the under bet last night in the waning moments of the Super Bowl.
I would say like a 7.5 maybe, just because it's the Super Bowl. And like to your point, the game was a stone cold under. Like stone cold. There is no way on earth that this game with 9 points in the first half, 12 points total through 3 quarters of this game can possibly go over 45. So maybe it's like an 8.5, maybe it's a 9. I don't know. And the point, this is one of those things that we see in Super Bowls though, where the fourth quarter can get a little bit looser. You know, you have a team that, because it's not like it's not like it's like Pete Carroll and the Raiders against the Chiefs in week 12, where Pete Carroll's like, you know what? I'm not even using my timeouts. We're just running the ball. This game's over. Let's get out of Dodge. This is like, it's a Super Bowl. You know, you're going to lay it all out there. And so you do see a little more desperation. You know, I knew there was going to be some dropbacks, a lot of dropbacks from Drake Maye in that fourth quarter, which were going to be dangerous because he was going to get pressured. And if Seattle scoops and scores, then you're in a lot of trouble. And that started to happen. So yeah, I mean, it was hella sweaty, right? I mean, and it's one of those where I've been able to add 29 and 13 for 40 years of my life or whatever it is. Like, I know that it's 42. I'm still like double checking the math. Like, all right, what do I need? What has to happen here? Because the side of your face is starting to turn red internally, and it's like burning a little bit. You're like, I can't believe I'm going to lose this freaking under on this absolute nonsense. And so like, I think that's the part where the sweat really kicks in, when you're doing double checking your math to make sure you have enough wiggle room here.
And that's good practice, by the way, as we get set to head into conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, there is no math done around the world. Grade schools, high schools, colleges, professional mathematicians, scientists. There is no math done quite like the math that you do in your head when you bet the total of a college basketball game and it's coming down the stretch.
Yeah.
What do I need? What do I need here is absolutely the best.
You're adding 2 totals that are rapidly changing because it's like people are shooting and it's like especially in like a high-paced game. You're adding the math on those, and then you're simultaneously dividing that by the number of minutes, which is also moving at the same time, and trying to figure out how many points you can allow. And then you're thinking about these freaking free throws at the end of the game. You're wondering conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament, the live math on that. Like I probably like the month of March. And then into the beginning of April, when you get your screen time results on like Sunday, it's like, here's what apps you've used. It's like the calculator has gone up 30 to 40% because I'm trying to do that math because I can't do it in my head because my face is burning and I'm freaking out about losing an under in a college football or college basketball.
Will Brinson here with us on the show. We need to, Bill, we got to get a piece of imaging done for when Will comes on the show. Once upon a time in another lifetime, Will and I used to play a game on the Pick 6 podcast, talking NFL for CBS Sports. The game was called Hot Take or Just Right. I'd like to play a game of hot take or just right. We've got like 6 minutes left. I'd like to hit you with a couple different things here. Numero uno. You said this earlier in the interview, so I'm guessing you think this is just right. I think it's a hot take. The Seattle Seahawks are a historically great team and historically great defense. Hot take or just right?
I think it's just it's right on the border. It's a tough one because I do think
it's a flaming hot take, man. It's on fire. No way.
It's probably a hot take. I think defensively they might be historically good. Now, are they even as good as the last Seattle Super Bowl team? Like probably not. Like the Legion of Boom.
I said that earlier. I think the Legion of Boom defense is better than this defense, and that's not an insult to this defense.
No, the Legion of Boom is like up there with the 85 Bears. And we're also talking about a team that, like Seattle shut down everybody in the NFL this year with the exception. By the way, this is why, like, if you voted for Drake Maye for MVP instead of Matthew Stafford, you're kind of a clown today. Because Matthew Stafford well, shout out to Sam Monson for saving us from, like, can you imagine if Drake Maye was the MVP right now? After that performance in the Super Bowl, what a joke. I mean, their schedule was so easy. Stafford carved up the Seattle defense, and I think it speaks volumes to him versus Drake Maye. And, like, Drake Maye's a really good quarterback. He's going to be a great player. But, yeah, like, this offense for Seattle was very good, but it's not, like, historic. This team can't be considered historic. It was a lesser version of what the last Seahawks team had. I mean, Kenneth Walker, awesome, but he's kind of like a beast mode light. And then Sam Darnold played a great year, had a fantastic season, but also like basically just Russell Wilson light in terms of being great on play action, not making, he still made a bunch of mistakes in over the course of the season. And the defense, again, I think it's a great defense. And I think the special teams were elite too once they added Rashid Shaheed, but I don't think you're right. It's not a historic team, but I do think they're better in terms of like where they stack up historically than people might want to give them credit for.
Hot take or just right? The New England Patriots were not only not the best team in the AFC this season, but maybe not one of the best two teams in the AFC this season, as it turns out. Hot take or just right?
I think that's just right. New England, look, you got to beat who's on your schedule. And New England beat who's on their schedule. But that schedule will go down as I think, here's your hot take. That's the easiest schedule in NFL history. Like, even you get to the playoffs and you got to play some good defenses, but you get the Chargers without both tackles. You get the Texans without Nico Collins. You get the Broncos with Jared Stidham at quarterback. And then you get absolutely slaughtered in the Super Bowl when you have to face a really good team. So, yeah, I think you can easily make a case that the Patriots, and I think they got there. I think they got to the postseason and they won the AFC East by virtue of their schedule and Drake Maye's improvements, which were legitimate with Josh McDaniels there, with Mike Vrable making the team better and a really good defense. They got to the Super Bowl by virtue of Mike Vrable going into the playoffs, knowing that he was going to sort of like turtle up, tighten the hatches, do whatever it is, and play great defense, run the football, keep it close, and steal games or put games away late by smart football and like basic fundamentals. It was Belichickian in that sense, but it wasn't going to work against a Seattle team that just overpowered them. And so, yeah, like I think Buffalo probably gives the Seahawks. I'm not saying Buffalo was the team you're talking about, but
how could it be worse?
I think. Right. I mean, like I think Denver at full strength with like Bo Nix gives him a better battle than Drake Maye and the Patriots did. I think Buffalo and Josh Allen, just by virtue of having Josh Allen, give them a better battle. And then I think that the Rams, if the Rams beat the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game, I think the Rams slaughtered the Patriots.
Agreed. Last one for you. Not hot take or just right. A through F, 1 through 10, however you want to grade it. What did Will Brinson think of the Bad Bunny halftime show?
A C plus. I mean, like
I gave it a C.
I enjoyed it.
I gave it a C.
Yeah, like I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was fine. I got the exact text from my father that I thought I would get about it. I thought it was.
I'm guessing Will's dad is an older conservative white male from North Carolina. My guess is that your dad was locked into Kid Rock and Lee Greenwood.
I don't think he changed the channel. I just think he was a little like perplexed by what was going on.
Because he's proud to be an American.
I've been getting the text for the last like 10 years. I mean, like he's just old, Like, no offense, Dad. And I think a lot of people want the halftime show to be more than what it is. it was entertaining, and Bad Bunny like played some good songs, and it was
name one.
I don't know any of the songs. It was,
you don't know any of them. What do you mean the songs are good?
I don't know any of them. I didn't. I wasn't bothered by it. It didn't it didn't upset me. It didn't blow my mind. We're never going to get a Prince Super Bowl again, or we're never going to get. I just don't think that the mind blowing performances by like rock concert performances are on the stage anymore. This has become more theatrical. Jay-Z and Rock Nation are involved with they produce it. It's an Apple Music thing. It's going to be what it's going to be. It's going to be I thought it was fine. It's fine. I enjoyed it, but I didn't didn't love it. Didn't hate it.
Would you go to a Bad Bunny concert?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. I mean, it was especially I don't know if you ever listened to Buena Vista Social Club, like an old school, Cuban, jazz quartet. It's had some of those vibes to it at very point.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. Yeah. So I'd go to a Bad Bunny show.
And
somebody would probably be like, all right, who's the cop? When I showed up.
I have to tell you, we've hung out many times in person. No one is confusing you with a cop. And the other is, lots of very attractive Latin women. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Will, nothing wrong with
who's
you.
Your pick who's it? Wait, how much time do we have? 30 seconds? What do we have? A minute?
Like a hard minute.
Yeah. Who are you gave? I'm not going to listen to the rest of your show. No offense. I'm going to go watch Bad Bunny reruns. Yeah, but the Super Bowl pick. I think the odds.
I'm going to do it tomorrow.
I think the odds are fascinating. It's been a long time since we have seen the favorite to win the Super Bowl at 9.5 to 1 after the Super Bowl. Usually it's 2 or 3 to 1, and then you have to go. There's a lot of teams 40 to 1 or less. I think it's just a very interesting state of affairs in the NFL when it comes to the futures and Super Bowl betting.
We'll catch up with you down the road, my friend.
All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
Will Brinson joining us here from CBS Sports on Twitter at Will Brinson. We'll take a break. We'll wrap up the show with all my bets for tonight right after this.
The thing I am adding to the list this week, Alex, something that's kind of bothered me a lot. And it's a phrase that we use in sports way too often. It's the phrase, 110%. Go out there and give it 110%. Go out there and give it your all. You know, you hear it all the time. Give it 110%. First of all, guys, that's mathematically impossible. Unless you're my car's gas gauge that one night in college, like, you're not giving it 110%. The people who say 110% are like the same people that say gazillion, you know, or like the people that say 100 and go out and give it 110%. They're the people in the corporate world that like use words like synergy, right? The people that use the phrase go out and give it 110% probably subscribe to all of David Goggins' podcasts. I just think it is time we lay to rest the give it 110%. All right. Okay. Now, look, let's say hypothetically you could actually give it 110%. We work in sports talk radio. We live on hypotheticals, right? Hypothetically, if 110% is attainable, why stop at 110%? Why not give 150%? Why not give 368%? Why not give 971%? Why are we stopping at 110? Who came up with that number? Just give it 100%. Go all out. You cannot give 110%. And if you can, why aren't you giving more?
Now, back to You Better You Bet with Nick Kostos and the crew, presented by BetMGM on Westwood One Sports.
All right, some thank yous to dole out before we wrap up the magnificent Football Monday Super Bowl 60 postgame edition of You Better You Bet with all our bets for tonight in the world of sports. Our two guests on the show today, both fantastic, breaking down Super Bowl 60, the great Herman Edwards from ESPN, and our friend Will Brinson from CBS. Bill Zimmerman is our executive producer, Tyler Morales, our technical director, Kenny Henderson on the board, downtown Mike Brown, and Dan the Man Turner handling the video operation of the show. All right, Kenny, let's please drop the dope-ass beat. No matter the matchup, betting with boosted odds makes every basket mean even more. We want you, the listener and viewer, to activate your Odds Boost token for any college basketball bet, and you'll receive a bigger payout if your bet wins. Get set for tip-off with BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly. Tyler and Kenny, pop on here if you have college basketball bets. One quick thought in the NBA for tonight. So Luka Doncic is out with a hamstring for the Lakers. The Lakers are hosting the Oklahoma City Thunder. OKC is currently getting bet. I would like to wait until the last possible second and bet the Lakers tonight. With LeBron and Austin Reeves both going to play, that will be a small bet for me. The NBA is really wonky right now. I will kind of keep wading back into the NBA waters as the days roll on and football season goes further into the rearview mirror. I need to get a handle on everything in the NBA, candidly, to bet it on a nightly basis. So a small bet for me on the Lakers. I'm feeling better about college basketball. So 2 college basketball plays coming your way tonight from yours truly. Numero uno. And this will be a show bet. I'm on it. Tyler's on it. Kenny Henderson is on it. And it's the game. Oh, boy. And the line is on the move. The game of the night in college basketball. One of the games of the season in college basketball is undefeated and top-ranked Arizona visits the Fog to take on Kansas and Darren Peterson, who look exceptional now with Darren Peterson healthy. This morning, Arizona was a 2.5-point road favorite. That number now is down to 1.5. If you're like, oh, well, how did you're just saying that you want to be making up a better number. I don't know. I gave in to beat the books this morning, 3 hours ago, liking Kansas plus 2.5. So I think Kansas is going to win and knock Arizona from the ranks of the unbeaten. I like Kansas. Kenny likes Kansas. Tyler likes Kansas, which probably means kiss of death. But we're all on Kansas tonight against Arizona. And one other bet for me. Oh, man, and this one's moving in the opposite direction. So St. John's is on a roll right now. St. John's beat UConn this weekend. St. John's is feeling good. Xavier's coming to town. Patino v. Patino. Numbers up to 15.5. I may regret it. Small bet for me on the X-Men, on Xavier, to keep it within shouting distance tonight against St. John's. So Lakers, Xavier, and Kansas. Kansas, my favorite of the three. Here's the good news. We got a lot of Super Bowl content coming up tomorrow on the show. And I got to give you my initial thought on Super Bowl 61. So appreciate everyone who tuned into the show today. We will catch you tomorrow on a terrific Football Tuesday. Until then, on behalf of our crew, I'm Nick Kostos wishing you minimal sweats, winning bets, the absolute very best of luck. Our friends, Black and Abdallah, coming up next on Westwood One Sports.
We're getting towards awards and accolades just being completely meaningless now. I've grown a little fed up with that song. Yeah, I've grown a little fed up with LeBron James. Last week, the fake crying, the charade that he put on before playing the Cleveland Cavaliers in Cleveland. He hasn't formally announced that this is his retirement season, his farewell tour. Yet we're kind of treating it that way. Probably because we see the drop-off in his game this season. You look at the numbers, he's averaging 22 points, 6 rebounds, and 6.5 assists. This is a guy that Last year was averaging 24.5 points. The year before that, 25.5 points. 2 years ago, 2021, 30 points per game. His average rebounds per game is the lowest in his entire career. The average of his assists is the second lowest in the last 10 years for him. His shooting 50% from the field is the second lowest in the last 7 years. His free throw percentage continues to be horrendous. It's at 73%. His three-point percentage is 33%. And nowadays we're playing a sport where there is routinely 240 points in a contest. So, on top of that, yeah, he had sciatica, which has limited him to just 31 games played this season. He didn't make his season debut until 15 games into the season. How is LeBron James an all-star over Kawhi Leonard? Makes no sense whatsoever to me. It basically just says that at this point, the NBA is giving him the honorary LeBron badge. You're LeBron James. Here you go. You're an all-star. And so now being an all-star in the NBA is just as meaningless as being named a Pro Bowler in the NFL, because we have Shedeur Sanders, a Pro Bowler. We've got LeBron James, an all-star, in a year where he's not an all-star. It's okay if LeBron James is not an all-star. We recognize he's one of the greatest players of all time. He hasn't been an all-star by like any definition of the word or of the accolade this season. So why are we just giving it to him?